This is Newcap News with Michaela Henshaw.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. The Lloydminster RCMP have released a composite sketch in hopes of identifying a suspect in an alleged sexual assault over the weekend. The suspect is described as Caucasian, in his late 20s or early 30s, about 6 feet tall and balding. The alleged assault took place on 75th Ave north of Highway 16 on Saturday, July 14th. If you have any information regarding the suspect or the assault, you are asked to contact Lloydminster RCMP. Well, if you've wandered through the city today, you may have stumbled upon something that made you smile. In this week's Healthy Living, Brittany Matika shares with us a group in Lloydminster spreading smiles through painting rocks.
Meet Caroline Parks. She is a busy mother of 4 and brought an idea she had seen in Fort McMurray here.
I just was watching someone else's Facebook page and watching how much fun they were having in their community and thought that we could probably use that here in Lloydminster.
Lloyd Rocks is a simple game. Anyone can paint rocks and then hide them around Lloydminster. Parks says she hopes to bring smiles to the people's faces who find them.
Well, we all make a mess in the kitchen and paint some rocks, and then I spray them and seal them so the paint won't run if it rains.
Parks says they decided to come to Bud Miller Park for a walk and to drop off some treasures.
I had sneaky rocks.
We'll come and go for a little walk and have a picnic and hide a couple rocks, and then we take photos of the rocks and post it on the Facebook page and say, hey, we hid these in this park, come find them.
Where did you sneakily hide them?
Over there behind the in like the wall. I hide the rocks where the wall is.
Parks says it's simple for anyone to get involved and participate.
Well, you just join our Facebook page and there's a Q&A on there, and then you can just start painting rocks and hide the rocks and take a photo of each one and post it on the Facebook page and tell people, hey, come find me.
But hiding the rocks isn't the only fun part of the game.
It's not usually a day or two later someone else posts a photo saying, hey, we found your rocks, and it's really fun for the kids.
The rocks can be hidden anywhere in the city, so next time you're out, have a look around. Brittany Matika, Newcap News.
What an awesome initiative. Well, parkour is where you have to go from point A to point B as quickly and as creatively as possible. And one local teen is trying to bring the sport to the youth of the border city. Our Brett Holden has the story.
Fans of the popular NBC show The Office may know parkour from this iconic scene. But for Canadian junior champion 15-year-old Eric Reinhardt, he has been interested in the sport for a long time.
Okay, so I've been wanting to do parkour since I was a kid, but I never had the chance to until it was about last year when we met a guy from Edmonton named 2J Pantoa. And he's like the most amazing parkour guy, and he does bars, and he's super strong, and he's just insane.
But Pantoa and Reinhardt's private lessons came with a bit of a hurdle.
And so we met this guy, and we're like, can we do lessons? He's like, okay, we'll try privates. So we were doing private lessons online, FaceTime, because he lives in Edmonton and I'm in Lloyd, so it just kind of worked out like that. Okay, see, that was good. That was your best one so far, like perfect, okay?
Now, with what Eric has learned from 2J Pantoa, he wants to help teach Border City youth about the sport he loves.
It really wasn't about the money or anything. I was more about, I honestly like teaching. I just enjoy it, and so thought, why not give it a go? I feel like there's not a lot of people teaching parkour. There's no one teaching parkour in Lloyd, especially not at age 15. So I'm pretty young to be teaching parkour, yeah, I guess.
And for what looks like a juggling act for Eric, he seems to not be too worried about it.
Well, I'm actually homeschooled, so I try to get most of my school done in the morning, and if it doesn't happen in the morning, I just do it whenever I want. I enjoy not just doing parkour, but I play music. I do all sorts of stuff with my spare time. I try to use it wisely, because I know that being homeschooled, and also I'm not 18 yet, so I don't have to get like a full job. This is the most time I'll ever have, so I try to use it wisely.
And for Eric, as for what's coming in the future, there aren't many competitions coming up, but lessons will keep going. For Newcap News,
that's Brett Holden.
Much better at parkour than I am, that's for sure. Well, the Root is hosting their first July weekend show this Friday, and I have your details in this week's What's Happening. if you miss Colonial Days, don't worry. Vermilion has you covered with the 112th Vermilion Annual Fair. They've got something for the whole family, and this year's theme is Sow It, Grow It, Show It. So there is handmade vendors, lots of food for you to enjoy. So get on down there. That runs from the 26th to the 28th of July. And if you're looking for an activity for the whole family to do, the Lloydminster Cultural and Science Centre has you covered with the Fighting in Flanders exhibit here until September 22nd. The exhibit will teach you what it was like for a Canadian soldier during the Second World War in Belgium. And if you got an appetite for some old school rock and roll, we got you covered with this remastered version of Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. There's classic songs like Welcome to the Jungle, It's So Easy, and Nitrate, and it's really easy to win it. All you got to do is email us at tvcontest@newcap.ca. Like always, we want to thank John from Universal Music Canada for hooking us up with the music. And if you want to be serenaded, the Root Bistro has you covered with Campbell Woods. He'll be hitting the stage at 9 o'clock on Friday, July 20th. Tickets are just $10 at the door, and he'll be on stage with special guest Mike Kerr. Well, whatever you choose to do this week, I hope it's a good one.
This is Newcap Sports.
Well, the final homestand of the Northwest Prairie Pirates season represented their final games with a larger home crowd, but also their last chance to get ahead of the win column before hitting the road this weekend. Josh Ryan has more on what an afternoon that began murky but ended brightly.
The weather reflected the performance of the home team at the start of Wednesday's pair of games, as the Pirates lost a sloppy 5-2 affair. However, the squad finally found some consistency in the second contest just as sunlight returned, resulting in a much-needed 9-5 victory.
I think we really came together as a team. We started hitting the ball where we had some good at-bats and got people on.
The Pirates trailed for most of the afternoon before their largely inactive offense exploded for 8 runs in the 6th inning. Once multiple batters were able to get on base, the team's confidence surged.
It gets the team more into the game, gets them up, and gets a chance. If you put the ball in play with defense, and anything can happen, so that's what we were trying to do.
Leighton Veach, who had 2 RBIs in the game, had no doubt they were about to snap their 5-game losing streak as he took to the mound in relief for the final inning.
I knew we were going to shut it down in the last inning after that. And it was just a really good feeling after a couple losses.
The comeback couldn't have taken place without a limitation of errors in the first 2/3 of the game, something the group has focused on improving all season.
I thought we did a really good job in the second game holding them early so we had a chance to come back in that last inning.
Now the question is, can the Pirates carry this momentum into the weekend, where one of the doubleheaders pits them against the Saskatoon Giants, who hold the last qualifying spot for the AAA Provincial Championship?
I think we have to win 3 more games in order to give us a chance to get in there, so it all comes down to the wire.
We know how we can play and just stick to what we've been practicing all year, and it'll work out.
Josh Ryan, Newcap Sports.
Well, having the auto steer running the combine is something that's taken for granted, so why design one yourself? In this week's Agriculture Report, Gerard Lampow meets an area producer who has not only done that, but is being recognized for his work.
We just use it for harrowing and rolling the spring, like to flatten out the land.
No, it's not a ghost driving the tractor. This is a GPS auto steering system designed by Manville farmer Brian Tischler.
I put the information on the internet on forums, and people all over the world started asking, well, what about auto steer? What about auto headland? What about some of these other features that other GPS have? And I'm like, impossible. But then we just started breaking them down one by one, and with help and information and other people testing all over the world, I was able to add more and more features to where today we have a fully autonomous tractor.
There are people from several European countries who are sharing in this Manville, Alberta project. Tischler says his tractor has 9 computers on board and the sensor in front, but there are challenges, like when it starts to rain.
I couldn't turn as fast on the headland because now it was muddy, but the computer didn't know that it had rained. Me as an operator knew that I couldn't take it as fast, so then I slowed down. But had the computer just been driving it by itself, it would have crashed into the trees.
Whether or not the future of agriculture lies in autonomous vehicles, the question remains as to what level of autonomy can farmers feel comfortable with, still at a cost of some $15,000 to $20,000 on a $500,000 tractor. Compare that to Brian Tischler's $500 do-it-yourself GPS.
We can go from a tractor that just steers itself in a straight line to one that also turns around at the end of the field and comes back. And maybe you have to control it to do around a gas well or around a patch of trees. But then you can take that another step where it will do all of those spots, completely do the field, and then come back and park in the garage. That is a long way off.
Tischler has sparked a global conversation by using the open source concept to handle proprietary rights. He's on a short list for an award this fall from Alberta Science and Technology.
I got an email from the Aztec committee, and it said it was the finalist for the Aztec Award in October. And it was PhD so-and-so, MD/PhD so-and-so, and it was like MD, PhD, PhD, and then it was farmer from Manville.
Gerard Lampow, Newcap News.